So looking back on the production itself, what's something that both of you learned on this production to take, maybe Andrea, not for the next film, but just in life in general, something you learned either to do or not to do in the future for future projects?
What did I learn to do or not to do? I think this is an interesting time in our world, and that what I find is really interesting right now is that it is encouraged, acceptable, and almost like how to have connections with people about sharing vulnerability. And I think that's a big change in our world. Like, it used to be that when you're vulnerable, you kind of hide that, like you don't share your weaknesses or vulnerabilities and so forth. And I think nowadays, when we want to share stories and personal connection, like, being vulnerable is celebrated. And this process in this film kind of helped me work through that a little bit of, kind of catching up to that, the trend, and, this beautiful way of sharing our vulnerabilities. In some ways, I wish that I could share more vulnerabilities, even in the film and with Laura and with audiences, because I think it's how we connect with each other, and we find that we all have vulnerabilities and that there's some very strong threads. So moving forward, I think, this project, has helped me like share that and share my story, and kind of an origin story if I was like a superhero.
Yeah.
And like being, I think I haven't shared those kind of things in the past. And I think a lot of folks that, see this film and happen to know who I am are quite surprised that that's part of my origin story. Because I do present a lot of light. I don't, people might not know why I do what I do, but this film really does share some, like, my mission and some of that fuel and where it comes from. And so in the past, I used to think, oh, like, don't say nothing. Like, my dad would be like, nobody needs to know about all that. Nobody needs to know about all that. And nobody needs to know, like, don't talk, because on my dad's side, we're Southern Italian, and, it's kind of a hush hush, like, don't share the secrets of the family.
Yeah.
Capiche, So I was always like, okay, I won't say nothing. But now it's like sharing your story and elevating your story, and also like how to elevate the stories around you. So, we become stronger community members for each other. So I think that is now more of my mission, is to, elevate the stories around me. And especially, we live in a country of like beautiful, amazing stories. Like, most of us are, immigrants in some way, and just how we have happened to be where we are and getting to do what we're doing is quite a beautiful, magical journey for many, many people. And it's through the lens of beautiful artists and documentarians that we can share that and spark that interest. So I'm so grateful to Laura and also to you, Chuck, for letting us be here today. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for coming. Laura, how about you?
Let's see. Well, I do, to echo Andrea's point, vulnerability in making a film about someone or a group of people is so important. And it is, in whatever form it takes in a character or a, documentary participant's life, like, someone is going to relate to that, even if their life is completely different. They live on another continent. I think that opening up and finding people who are willing to be vulnerable on camera, as Andrea was, is key to success in the documentary. Let's see what else I learned. This was the amazing editor who did this film with us, Ace McCall. She reminded, and we worked together a lot. She reminded me so many times to be patient and let the story come together. And I tend to be a pretty impatient person. So for me, it's like, okay, let's get this done. We're going to finish. We're going to finish by March 1st. We're going to finish by April 1st. We got to do this now, now, now. And so many times, documentaries take longer than we want them to take. And especially when you're telling somebody else's story, it's so important to let it come together and get the input of the people who are involved, and show your filmmaker friends and people who have never watched a film before, and get feedback and workshop it until it's just right. And maybe you spend months going in a different direction with the edit and it doesn't work and you've wasted all this time, but really you had to try that. And I guess that's just to say that being patient with the story and trusting the process of making 35 cuts of the film before you come back to number 6 and realize that was where the most emotions rang true. So, I think that just trusting the process, as cliche as that sounds, is really important in the practice of filmmaking.
No, it's definitely a good point. Just about patience, because everything in the film industry just it seems like it takes forever. I mean, we're waiting on we shot a sizzle reel for a TV show concept, and we just have to wait till June to pitch it. And God, why do we have to wait so long? But so yeah, just not getting in your own head is definitely great. Definitely great advice for survival.
And I would say it's so easy to give up in probably any art form, but since I'm a documentarian, I know about that. And I think it's important to have a team where at least one person of the team is going to be the cheerleader at a time. So, in my collaboration with Michelle, and then later Sarah Cohen came on as an executive producer, everyone burns out at some point. And so when I was feeling like this is never going to happen, we just got rejected from, another grant. We still don't have our storyline. We can't do any filming because of COVID. Then there Michelle was saying, no, we're going to finish this. This is good. Like, we have something. And then when Michelle is feeling crappy about it, I'll remind her, no, we're going to do this. And, come on this Zoom call and on Tuesday at 2 p.m. and we're going to talk about the next step. So I think it is like, film is such a collaborative medium, and you need to have other people who are going to push the project forward when you feel like quitting, because you're going to feel like quitting.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's so true. I'm self-publishing a book, and it's been taking like 2 years.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to read that. I actually just talked to Ellen, Andrea, and she told me about your book, and I want a copy. Sign me up.
Oh, goody. Well, I'm getting my first copy printed, and one copy is $40. No,
I would totally spend.
No, it actually costs $40 to print one copy. No, I'm not going to sell it to you for $40, but I'm just the process, like you said, like, oh my gosh, like, how do we accomplish this artistic vision and goal that we have as an indie producer?
Yeah. And there's just so many no's along the way, you're going to hear no from everybody. It seems like every film festival, every grant maker, you got to get at least 10 no's before you get one yes. And that's really hard for the ego of an artist.
I hope you're getting more yeses now.
Yes, actually we are. We have some exciting news that Smile Little Ladybug is going to be playing the opening night of the Maryland Film Festival, which is coming up in the end of April. And we have another festival that we just got accepted to, which we cannot announce for another week or two. So I can tell you offline, Andrea.
Yay! Congratulations.